Hello everybody. So today's video is entitled MSTR stock cash at 4 billion plus the stretch buyback picking up steam, getting a little stronger last week. And of course, this is the headline that Saylor gives us on X. This is the headline that I'm picking up. I want to talk about the $4 billion sell. Now, you will have guessed that if you type MSTR stock right now, the media is running with the story of him selling the Bitcoin again, and he sold Bitcoin, but he put that in the 8K. He didn't put that in his announcement. He sold Bitcoin, yes. He sold a little bit more than $100 million worth of Bitcoin, capturing that tax loss harvesting, but that's not what the media is going after. The media is going after the bleed. Oh my goodness, Michael Saylor is selling. Michael Saylor is selling. This is bad. That's what the media is running with. But the story couldn't be more different. MSTR stock, in my view, continues its boring journey through the end of the Bitcoin bear market. We are in the Bitcoin bear market. We are trading at 63,000 Bitcoin. The price action of Bitcoin has been extremely disappointing. The money is going to AI. The money is not really going to Bitcoin as much as we had believed it would. And therefore, MSTR is struggling. But MSTR is struggling because it's a function of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is struggling. If Bitcoin is struggling, MSTR is struggling. It's not the 200 million of dilution here, 100 million of a sell of Bitcoin there. This is not what's going to meaningfully change the story of MSTR. The MSTR story will only meaningfully change if Bitcoin meaningfully increases. And so that's the title of the video. MSTR continues to navigate this bear market as best as it can. And if I look at the price action, yeah, MSTR is down a little more than 2%. Bitcoin is up 1.5%. So we are behaving slightly like a leveraged ETF, like a very slight leverage ETF, like a 20-30% extra leverage ETF. Historically, it's been about 50% more volatile for strategy than Bitcoin. But, I find it very uncanny how corporate actions really have little to no effect on MSTR. Even on a day where the media is running with a pretty negative headline, it really doesn't have much of an effect on the stock. The stock is trading in line with Bitcoin. The stock is trading in line with Bitcoin. So let's talk about kind of what are the new announcements, and you'll see. I think they are pretty small announcements. They increased the cash reserve to $4 billion now, so they increased it by 250 million. Again, we're talking about a $35 billion company. A $35 billion company, you're making a change of 250 million to your cash reserve, and you're spending $81 million on stretch buybacks, which is what they did. They bought back a little bit of stretch, 81 million. Did that move the stretch price? Did the 250 million move the stretch price? Maybe a little bit, but not by much. To me, what will move the stretch price back up is Bitcoin heading back up. Saylor is managing the bear and is signaling. He's signaling during the bear, right? Signaling, for example, increasing the BTC credit of stretch by 5 basis points, right? Signaling the calculation, educating the market, sending these signals. But, the truth is it doesn't have much effect on the stock price. It just doesn't. And when I look, of course, at the performance of Stretch, and we know that he's been buying back Stretch. So Stretch is up, as I record this, 2.7%. If you look at Stride, we know he's not buying back Stride. Stride is a little bit higher. It's the junior debt, right? It's a little junior preferred. It's higher in the capital. Sorry, it's lower in the capital structure. It's more junior. It's quote unquote riskier, right, in the capital structure. Definitely riskier. Everything related to Bitcoin is risky. No financial advice, as you know, on this channel. But, it's a little higher, more junior, a little higher up on the risk curve. It's up 3%. It's up 3%. Stretch is up 2.7%. It's tough for me to tell you that Stretch is going up because of the $80 million buyback. I think it's a drop in the bucket. I think I think that buyback doesn't do much, at least economically speaking. I don't think it really has much economic weight. I think it has signaling weight. He's signaling to the market, hey, look, I'm doing something about it. I'm the management team. Well, he's not as the executive chairman, but the management team is doing something about this and working on this. And what I think he it did well, even though the media was obviously gonna, nag him for this. But what I think he did well is in his announcement on X, and you can see it hasn't had as much traction as prior announcements. In his own announcement on X, he's not talking about the Bitcoin sell. He's talking about it like an afterthought, like it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, so he sold $100 million worth of Bitcoin. Again, that's 1,600 Bitcoin when you have a company that has, what is it, more than 842,000. They have 842,000 Bitcoin. They sold 1,600 Bitcoin. This is no big deal. This is what I would call Saylor tweaking the business model. Saylor making all of these little moves. But these moves are more for signaling, and they are way less, in my view, for economic meaning to the company or an economic benefit. The benefit is going to be pretty small. Noteworthy, though, it's accretive to sell the Bitcoin because the average purchase price on that Bitcoin was 75, and they sold it at 63. So, you're collecting, your tax harvesting here. So that's pretty good. And in the accounting, at the end of the year, it'd be interesting to see which Bitcoins they sold and, kind of tax lot strategy. What did they use? Did they sell the $100,000 Bitcoin? I would hope so. I would hope they would sell the very high cost basis Bitcoin in order to tax loss harvest a little more. So anyways, small moves by Saylor, nothing too stark, nothing too spooky, and therefore the slow bleed of MSTR continues as the slow bleed of Bitcoin continues. He continues to quote unquote sacrifice the common. But then again, it's not that big of a deal selling, a few $100 million worth of a common when you have a market cap of 35 billion. And when I think the bear at some point will exit that bear, right? And Bitcoin analysts who study this much more than I do, what do they tell you? They tell you the bear is over maybe in 2 months, maybe in 45 days. Maybe we have to wait until the midterm. Bear markets don't last forever. At least historically, they haven't lasted forever. So in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's a little bit of a sacrifice. Yeah, it's disappointing that he sold Bitcoin. Yes, it's disappointing that Stretch is not trading at 100 anymore, but the Bitcoin price action has been extremely disappointing. We are still in fear territory. The market is very fearful, and therefore I think they are doing the best they can. Bitcoin back at $80,000 will save a lot of issues for all of Bitcoin treasury companies, for all of the crypto space. It will solve a lot of issues, right? It's not just MSTR who's going through a valley of despair. If you look at some other crypto names, I was reading about Coinbase this morning. Like, wow, like that's not doing well either. The space is not doing well, and it's not doing well because of a price weakness. So, and that was always the deal for this company. If Bitcoin was going to have this performance, we've always known this company would not do well if Bitcoin were not to do well, and Bitcoin is still not doing well, although it has stopped the bleed. So anyways, hopefully some positivity in this video. We are steady-heady. We are waiting. Best strategy is probably to close the app, stop looking at the price, and enjoy your holiday if you happen to be on vacation. Anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.